Well, hello and welcome to PM Express, and today we have another very, very sentimental topic to talk about. What are we talking about? We are talking about roads, and that alone gets your nerves up. Yes, roads. And I was saying just before we came on air that I think if you take politicians and policemen out of public resentment, I think road contractors, we don't be far off from number 3. We fall in any pothole and you're thinking, these contractors, they've overpriced, they've done a shoddy job, they've cut corners, and we always blame contractors. But it's very, very difficult to get contractors to literally explain why it is that our roads don't seem to stand the test of time. You know, sometimes, particularly getting nearer to elections, all of a sudden, all the roads are blackened. Even before the ballots are counted, the potholes start showing. The next rainfall and the road just dissolves. What is it that we're doing? Again, there's this perception that Ghana has the highest cost per kilometer in road construction. Some say even in the whole world. Is that true? And how do we achieve that? What is it at all that makes us not be able to construct roads? Because that's literally the lifeline of every country. Your ability to move from one economy to the other and do it very fast determines how quick business is. So you take, for instance, Accra to Kumasi. These are the two major economies in Ghana. And they are road, they are speed ramps on the road. And you're wondering, it's like driving from probably London to Manchester, and on the N1, they are speed ramps. They need you to get there quick, construct your business or do your business and come back quick. But it looks like the road has become an impediment. And we ourselves have a funny way of treating roads. We turn it into a market, we turn it into cattle crossing, sheep grazing, chickens and everything. What is it that we can do about our roads that going forward we can have decent roads that reduce cost in motoring, reduce deaths? 6 deaths is the minimum a day where we run people down because pedestrians and cars are struggling to use the same roads. What do we do? And is it all the contractors' fault? Well, contractors are in-house to explain. My name is Nana Ansakwa, the 4th Chief of the Republic of Akwamoah Dumasa, and since Adam, I've just gotten a contractor on my road who is working. Promise that by August, it will be tarred. Fingers crossed. Let's make sure that the Republic gets a tarred road so I can go, I'll declare an independence. But for now, we are okay with the Republic on our dusty road. When the tarred road comes, we may go for independence. Stay tuned. We're coming straight back. Well, thank you very much for staying, and with me in the studio is Daniel Ato Agro, who's the Association of Road Contractors Ghana, the national chairman. Daniel, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nana.
And then also I have Stephen Atachi, who's the Greater Accra chairman for the same association. So, I mean, if we have people to speak on behalf of contractors, I think we have just the right people in the studio today, and we are indeed grateful that they have, agreed to speak to us. I have to find you guys Ambantemusa, because you are the first time appearing on the show. So
that's true.
Ambantemusa. So we'll find them Ambantemusa. But Daniel, let me start with you. What is the public right, and why is it that there's a lot of resentment for road contractors now?
Nana, before I say anything, I would like to say hello to your viewers and to greet my fellow contractors who are watching us right now, and especially to congratulate those contractors who have been elected into regional positions as regional chairman, especially Mr. Stephen Atachi, who is the regional chairman for Greater Accra, who has just been elected, and he has chosen to come with me to deliberate on this topic. It is so distinct in Ghana that contractors have never fought back when they were being called names. Everything they dump into the contractor. But construction is a process. And every process, just like you want somebody to build a house for you. You go for a drawing and you show the guy what to do. And there are certain standards you want the person to keep. And you don't leave him alone, you supervise. So road construction is between us, the government, and the technocrats who award the project on behalf of government. So if there is a problem, it's very clear that there must be some problem along the line, along the process. Because if, like your building, if it doesn't go according to the plan, it will collapse. The same thing like road construction. If the procedures are not properly followed, the road will collapse in no uncertain terms within a short period. So it's not a matter of the contractor alone. It's a matter of all the people involved in the industry. Well, it's a whole industry. And to remind you, JFK Kennedy said, it's not wealth that constructs road, but it's the road that constructs wealth. So if we are taking it the opposite direction, we'll always be at fault.
The road will construct wealth, and not wealth will construct road.
Yes.
That's very deep, and that's very, very profound. Let me come to Stephen. Stephen, I mean, sometimes one of the major complaints in Accra is that you find a certain area which really, really struggling with roads, and then you find another area that's just getting asphalt laid over their already blackened road. Everybody's thinking, I mean, couldn't they have added more kilometers, you know, of black roads rather than, you know, re-black the black roads? I mean, what's the...
thank you very much, Nana. And I want to use this opportunity to greet your viewers and my very good friend, contractors as well, and the engineers also. As my chairman has said, the whole thing fall into three arms. If we would have taken it to be, the parliament, we see the three arms. The same thing in the road construction too. The engineers, that's the technocrats and the politicians and the contractors. And we are partners in development. Whatever they ask you to do, that's the thing we are going to do. But very unfortunately, it looks like people want to score a certain goal. For instance, when you go to East Lagos, some part of Accra, I mean, as we are saying, they have a road which is better than if we are going to, Ashoma. When we are going to Ashoma, I mean, it's serious. But they leave the Ashoma and they tell you, go and reseal this place. The reason, I don't know. If you are going to a place like Upokwasi, that's a short stretch. That's causing the traffic. So in short, our clients, they direct us to do, and it's a high time we should, handle the issue which we need, not what people want. You see, we are changing the priority. Instead of need, we are doing want. Okay. That is also
that's basically out of your control.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, one thing with Greater Accra is that I think particularly in Accra, apart from the asphalt roads, the other ones don't seem to last at all, and they dissolve under the rain. I mean, what's happening? As soon as it rains, you come out in the morning and you think, what, did somebody come and dig the road out? So, I mean, and that happens more in Accra than... Yes.
It's true. You see, in road construction, there are three various phases in order to keep the road motorable all the time. We call one routine maintenance, another periodic maintenance, then development. That's the rehabilitation and all this. You see, it seems we have completely neglected the first two. That keeps the road always motorable. Not by the contractors, but by the people who are awarded the contracts. And for the last 10 years, I must say, the industry has not been properly financed. So you'll see that so many projects are awarded, and the percentage that's completed are very few. Why? Because of the management of the industry by the technocrats and the politicians. You see, road, before even you put a pickers on it, it should be properly studied and documented and inventory taken. But what happens? As the regional chairman said, it's no longer a need but a want. A politician goes to a constituency and the people start crying, oh, our road. Without any proper study of the road, they ask you, but, oh, go and start work on this road. What will become of that road? No plan, no proper planning, no study of the road to know the sort of soil even that because that determines the stability of the road, the type of soil you are going to work on. Nobody studies it. So you see
that doesn't fall under your remit?
No. The documentation that you are given should have all those particulars then, and then the standard level to which you are supposed to work to. We don't have a control over that. The methodology and everything.
But there's always an engineer attached to any contract?
Every road has got an engineer and you've got a supervisor. And then you've got different level of
road to play.
Supervisors. Like there's somebody in charge of soil, somebody who is going to measure, somebody who is going to take the stability of what you are doing. All those things come into play. You don't just go and start working without any supervision. Every stage of the road is supervised by somebody. So before there could be a road that is not well done, then there should be collision between the contractor, the technocrats in charge, and whoever is signing.
And the engineer?
The engineer. There should be a collision before they will say, oh, this road has been awarded to a contractor to do. And then the road failed because there's collision. Not only the contractor. I always say that any road that fails, at least there should be an investigation to know why. I was happy when the Auditor General said the other day that now they audit the roads. That's when we will get to know whose fault it is that these failures occur so rapidly within a short period, the road fails.
Stephen, does it mean there's a lot of collusion? Because I'll try and get to the phones and get a general view. Because sometimes people are just shocked that, listen, 3 months ago this road was done, and all of a sudden potholes are showing.
Yeah.
I mean, what I don't. Maybe it's not a fair question, but is there?
It's a very good question.
Is there an average? That at least a road should last a year, or at least a road should last 2 years. Is there something like that?
Yeah. In actual fact, a road also have age. Road can last over 60 years, over 40 years, depending upon how you build the road. Take a paint, for instance. You can apply a paint which can take you a year before you can apply some paint which will take you 6 years or so more before you change it. Look, as the national chairman has said, in actual fact, it's a whole process. If one stage fails, it affects the rest. Typical example, the first, prime, that's the primary sale, it have to last for only 21 days to lay another, seal. But this is the case. You finish with the primary seal, and the community start using the road. And you don't have the money after 21 days, the money is not ready to continue the whole thing. And before you go back to the site, 2 years, 3 years, already the process has been tainted. And anything you do after that, it will deteriorate very fast. That is one of the factors. Then another factor, we were fighting with nature. Engineering, you are fighting with nature. And sometimes you may not know there is a water layout around that area. Sometimes you see a place, but there's a rock over there. It can give another way of, So the factors are numerous. But again, we are seeing that if we would have continued the process, when you start, you just go, systematically, I think those things should be avoided. But very unfortunately, it was not like that. You see, it was not like that. And then, in actual fact, the road construction is a very capital intensive, business. And again, you cannot start a process with only one machine. Let's say, for instance, you move to the site, the grader have to be there, the payload have to be there, excavator have to be there, the roller should be there, and other equipment. Minus this will affect this. And all those things, if you take a roller a day, you are paying about 1,000 plus. And the roller be with you for 1 month. You can imagine. So it's a process. Until we arrest that situation, then that process should be attended accordingly. Without that, I'm afraid.
National Chairman,
Yeah.
Is there a way in which contractors can come together and say that, listen, we are getting a bad name, we are building enemies for ourselves. And so if they award me a contract and we can't get it to a particular standard, we all need to sort of take a stand. I want you to build that in how do you win a contract at all to say, okay, contractor A, you do this road instead of contractor B. And then even if contractor A wins it, to come to a agreement, listen, if you don't let me do it to this standard, look, I'm not going to go on the road. Because for as far as I come out of from my house to the junction, it's like I'm driving on the moon. I feel like Neil Armstrong. It's just bump, bump, bump. I'm thinking, please.
Nana, it's very true what you're going through. We're coming here. I went through Lekman.
That's another one.
That short road in front of a gift to us by the Chinese government. Look at the road. Before the elections, that road was going to be tarred. But right now, it's just like a cattle track. It's because of the way we plan and probably plan and go ahead to implement. Implementation of this is also bad. The formation of our association was geared towards, 1, our welfare, 2, educating ourselves, and 3, protecting the vocation of construction. Formerly we were all under one association, Building and Civil Engineers Association. But when our ministry was separated from Works and Housing to Ministry of Roads and Highways, that is why we broke off from them and then decided to form an association that will look after our own welfare and try to build this for ourselves. But unfortunately, we were not held by a technocrats. They were somehow against us coming together. So what did they do? Financially trying to starve us. But this is an association that organizes education for the contractor through COVID and BUSEC. And before then, the government itself was doing it through assistance from GTZ and the World Bank to educate the contractor on the methodology and application of construction techniques. And that was going on very fine. But then we knew it was not going to be sustainable, government funding those things. That is why we decided that, okay, we tax ourselves and use the money to train ourselves. Because we have a school, Kofrida Trading School, which is owned by the ministry. And we know that they won't have the money to invite us for training all the time. So we said, okay, we levy ourselves to do all those things. But what happened to him? The technocrat refused to assist us.
I will come back to awarding, but since you're talking about training, other countries are using cheaper technology to seal roads. Why are we always using these chippings, and the haulage of the chippings sometimes is maybe more than the cost of the road? So in your training technology, polymer, and I'm sure there are other sealants which are cheaper, so that at least if it's not the motorway and it's the side roads like the Moon I drive on, they can seal it with cheaper technology. Have you suggested, can you apply it?
No. You see, Nana, Ghana, change is always difficult. Even I remembered very well when they brought this coal, they called bitumen. Yeah. It took several years before our engineers accepted it. We're also using the hot one, which you have to boil a certain temperature before applying. So it's for the engineers to develop these things and then introduce it to us, and we'll apply it. Because we always train our people through, as I said, Covert and USAC. They found us with some contribution from us to give us training for our operators, our technicians, and then for us ourselves as business people. So it's rather unfortunate that for the last 10 years, things have not been very okay with us. When we're growing very well, the industry was developing very well, but then it just non-payment of certificates and whatnot, delays, unnecessary delays, has created a big vacuum, which if not well taken care of, because most of us are losing our equipment. And if I take equipment from here to, let's say, Karachi, with personnel and leave them there, and for 1 year, I've not been paid. It's not been possible for me to pay those workers. And they owe even the local people. So non-payment to me doesn't only affect me in the bank, it affects even the local industry. Because those women, they cook for our workers, we hire houses from them. So the local economy is affected. And then in the long run, we contractors lose more because you leave your equipment, materials there. By the time you go back, the deterioration, and then there's pilfering of parts of the equipment. So it's always not in our interest that road work should be delayed unnecessarily.
You see, I think the reason why we don't sympathize with you is because we look at the end results. And so far as there's potholes, the road was done in January, March, there's potholes on it. Even if they stole your grader,
It's true.
So I think that's where the balance is. I mean, should there be where when you finish constructing the road, say, look, this road is finished, maybe expiry date is 3 years, and then you put a signboard so that everybody driving will know that, listen, Stephen has finished this road, and at least for the next 3 years, there should not be any mark on it. I don't know, so that we, so that we all see the expiry date.
In actual fact, every project have defect liability. It's in the contract. The defect liability, what it means is that when you finish the work, it will take about maybe it varies from contract to contract. Some can be 6 months, some can be 2 years, some can be 3 years. And that 3 years, the project still is your custody. You have to do all those, Since we are fighting with nature, sometimes there will be some defect somewhere, and we have to correct it. Look, but as I've said, the close of the day, the contractor, the engineers are having a common thinking, a common goal to achieve that. Look, sometimes you finish with the road, then the following day you come, then an authorized speed ramp has been, erected on the road. And look, you can do one speed ramp here, it can affect about the next 2 kilometers or 1 kilometer ahead of you. Because, water, I understand, they're enemies a road. Water and the sun. So it's a very dicey issue. And when you bring in a blame game, thinking of the contractor, as you mentioned of it, that if you take a police and the politicians, we are the number 3. By the day they slap you, and you go to police station, they catch the fellow for you. That day you see that, police are very good, needed in the system. The day they slap you, the day the armed robbers has reached your home and started slapping you, the first person you call is the police. The same thing the road. The close of the day, we have a bad name, which the bad name, we cannot be responsible to those names. No, we can't be responsible.
Let me calculate. It's so unfair that, let's say, a contractor is owed like 30 million Ghana cedis, which is a huge, colossal amount of money, a whole year, piling up interest, or like your machine is there,
of the CD.
And still you are unable to connect with the society to empathize that, this guy is really going through this. That's a serious PR job. Then you have that.
Yeah, Nana, it's very true that we need a lot of PR job. I think for the last, we tried some time ago, and the press has not been very responsive to us, just like everybody. They think, you're at fault. So they don't want to listen to you. But here we are. If you see the debt position of small time companies, we are actually small and medium companies. How can the government be owing us as at now? That's road maintenance. Not the total distance, 1.7 billion. When you add the highway and the urban road
and the feeder road and the cocoa road,
which is paid by Minister of Finance, that's the GOG, what we call the GOG. It's another 1.6 to 1.7 billion again. And then we have the cocoa roads, which is almost $1 billion outstanding also, all owed to contractors. When Unibank collapsed, I was looking at the analysis. Contractors owe Unibank over 400 million. 400 million. And that's only Unibank. That contractor would have been owing other suppliers, like the people who supply timber, spare parts, bitumen and whatnot. They're all in the ring. So
they too may be owing Unibank.
Oh yes, they
from another side. From the other side.
So it's a whole chain. There's a whole chain. I think we bring so much money and we move the economy because we are spread over the country.
So what's the way forward? That look, if there's no money, don't award the contract, or award and pay bits and pieces. What's the solution to this? Because we need the road.
To me, I think we haven't got our priorities right. You started by saying that Legon Road blackened and blackened again, whereas when you go out of Legon, it's all dirt road, which have not been maintained. Maintenance of lateral roads should be done at least twice a year. Bitumen road, at least 3 to 5 years, we always see some action there. Asphalt road, between 10 and 15 years. But it all depends on the construction of it. If it's not well done, and what is happening now, during the last, I think late 2016, they've asphalted most of the roads in the urban centers. They say enhanced projects, leaving the outskirts bare. And we spend billions on that enhanced projects, which most of them are failing because one, the base material under the asphalt is a very heavy material, and you put it in a weak base, what will happen?
It collapse.
It will collapse the road. My road, I live in Smithers. Half of the road is almost gone.
Don't they know you live there? Which of your members did the route? Which of your members did that
I can't
route?
blame my member. He's my ass can go and do it because one, somebody wants to gain.
Score a goal.
Score a goal.
A wrong goal.
A wrong goal. You see, somebody wants to score a goal, so they ask you to go and do that road. Without properly examining the condition of the road,
Visibility properly.
you are in business to make money. Probably you've been staff for a long time, and you think, oh, by doing that road, you get something. But it's rather it has led you to accumulate more debt. That's the position we have right now.
Wow, I'm going to take a break here, and then when I come, but before I come, I got this message. Let me read it. So the construction industry is virtually non-existent, especially the road sector. Government don't understand how it works. What we need is a regulatory framework for the construction industry, like a construction industry development authority. We are coming back. Don't go away. Well, thank you very much. Listen to this. There are about 72,000 kilometers of roads in Ghana, but only 23%, being 16 kilometers, is tarred. The rest is not tarred. But even with a population of 29 million, the country needs about 160,000 kilometers of road which should be tarred. To bridge this gap, we need to be strategic in the way we do things, i.e. we shouldn't develop towards vote, but develop as in proper develop and long term. Priority keeps coming up, as in those who, the organ grinders, we are getting the priorities. Will a development authority help in saying that, listen, no, these roads are maybe 80% good or 70% good, so they don't need resealing. We need to go here. Can the authority, I don't know, suggest something like that? Or you don't have a choice. If the minister says, look, go and tar the road, you have no choice.
That's the problem I have with our technocrats. You see, you're an engineer. You have certain ethics to keep. You have been given a budget to undertake certain works during the year. The minister comes out. What you have planned probably to do for a certain period, share of it, or give priority to what I'm telling you. I'm not saying that they should not. I think the percentage of what should be done for political favor should be very small, probably 20%. But 80% of works that should be approved for execution during every year should be planned properly. Properly planned, so that execution can be according to whatever program you have and whatever money you have available.
Okay, let me. The number is 0302 211 691 or 692. 0302 211 691 or 692. Take about 5-6 calls from wherever. Some of your questions. Because road is very sentimental to all of us. So some of your questions, bring it, and then see if we can help answer them. Yeah.
Nana, let me tell you a story. During 2015, at the end of 2015, the total debt owed to Contractor was about just 300 million, plus some money owed to SNIT, because at the point they had to borrow money from SNIT to pay us. So let's say about 600 million. And then 2016, we went for a loan of 1.2 billion. That is when they increased the fuel levy to 40 pesos, which is about just the 9.5 cents the World Bank recommended. For the first time, we got that value. But at the end of 2016, we had a debt of 875 million. Why should it be that debt? We went for the loan of 1.2 billion to clear about 600 million and do some works. But we ended up with 875 million, which rose at the end of 2017 to over 1 billion.
Wow. So they got 1.2 billion to clear, I say 600 million, and then they ended up with 800 million debt. Now that's a calculation and a half. Kujo in Cape Coast. Hello, Kujo. The line dropped? Kujo? Okay, the line dropped. So keep your calls coming, and when you get through, you lower your TV set and you be very quick, because I'm taking about just 4 or 5 calls, and then that's about it. Wow. But is there hope in this industry, or
oh, there is hope, Dana. We have been negotiating with the authorities now to at least put a stop to some of the things that was happening in the past.
No, but we chiefs will come 4 years' time, we'll start agitating. Hey,
that's true.
No road, no vote. No road, no vote. And so they also panic and then, unleash all the contractors onto roads. And Stephen, let me guess. So how do we deal with such an issue?
Yeah, in actual fact, it is a high time we have to tell the truth to ourselves. Because if you go to my village now, before the vote, equipment was brought to the town and things were just going on. I'm from America to North, precisely Aki. And after the voting...
Okay, let me speak to Apia and I'll come to you. Hello, Apia. Hello, Apia.
Hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening. Let me hear you.
Thank you for your program. I'm engineer myself.
Production, give me sound. Give me sound. Production, give me sound.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let's go.
Yeah. My problem is in Ghana, we need to be serious about certain things. Before a road is constructed, engineers will come in and specify for construction. The problem we have is supervision. If engineers can set up and supervise the project and make sure that good materials are used, proper construction methods are followed, we are going to be perfect. All that we do is sign a contract, the contractors on site, and nobody is checking, even the person is checking, the person is not doing it work well. And the people that do that cannot be very technical. So all that you do is that go to site, look at the things, see somewhere. We need to follow proper procedures in engineering. We have a lot of engineers in Ghana. We pass on the road and see the problem.
I can barely hear you. I know you're making a very valid point, but I can barely hear you. I don't know whether it's your reception. Have I still got? Okay, let me go. Fatal in Tamale. Hello, Fatal.
Hello.
Fatal.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Fatal. Let me hear you.
I'm a fellow for thank you and your panel for the good work we are doing. We really appreciate your work. Go with your elbow. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, the nature, I'm calling from Tamale South, the minority leader.
Oh, the line dropped. Getting challenges. I know when it gets to road, people are very sentimental about it. So everybody wants to
put in some.
Okay, hello, Richard.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, Richard, I can hear you loud and clear. Let me hear your point.
Nana, I'm very happy you are discussing this road construction issue. But the issue that stands now also has something to do with our leaders. We see, I'm a contractor myself. So whatever I'm telling you is based on an experience.
Good.
Our leaders will say everything as they are sitting there. But let me tell you, when it comes to tender processes, when they are going for these tenders, they will not even let us know, let the smaller ones know what they are going to do. So on the camera, it goes like the way it is going. But they're more into it than what you are discussing with them now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a fact. And that is a fact. When it comes to a matter of chasing certificates or chasing payment, some of us, we are somewhere, and then they also go in their way, doing all sort of things, all sort of management by themselves.
Okay, I get you. So the awarding scheme is a bit dodgy. Edward in Nsawam. Hello, Edward. We lost Edward. Okay, we lost Edward. Whose flow did I break? Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I wonder if the guy belongs to any of the associations. He should be aware that contractors don't award contracts.
No, you're saying the big boys don't tell the small guys that look.
No, it's published. It's published. You see, Ghana, we have that attitude. We don't want to read. We don't want to invest in this thing. Our time in reading. Every contract that is supposed to be awarded generally is published by the agencies. Especially, I'm sure he's a small-time contractor, the routine maintenance and periodic. Every year, at least twice, they publish all the jobs that are available all over the country. It's for you to have an access to that. If you cannot have access to that, there's a site by the procurement agency where you can go and look at the projects that are available and apply for it.
Okay. I have Solace in Sunyani. Hello, Solace.
Yeah, Nana.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. I'm so happy for this program. I will appeal to you that you should be doing this most of the time and leave the politicians out.
I like that.
I'm a civil engineer, and I've been in this industry for the past 11 years. And I want you to ask your panelists whether if they will agree with me that before contracts will be awarded, there should be money available. If all of them will agree, if they will be true to themselves, that before a road is awarded, there should be money prepared down. If not, we are wasting our time.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I asked that, but I didn't get a correct answer. Let me go to Aban in Upper West. Hello, Aban. Upper West.
Hello.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. Now this is Adam from.
Oh, Adam. Sorry, Adam.
Yes. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your concern about our rules, and thank you for your good job. Yeah. The reason behind this is. Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening. Adam.
Yeah. The reason behind this is. No, we will first of all go to our the politicians, which contractor, the one that they award, the contractor that they are awarding the contract to, the one they look at the people that are not the right people. That is one that we are looking at. The one aspect that we are looking at, and also a normal road. Our technology has not gone to the level that, because of our technology, for example, we have to, 2 years to construct a normal road, not less than 2 years. So when you have for only 4 years to be in power or to rule the country, and you are using only, let me say, 3 months or 4 months to construct a road, how will it look like? Because there should be a normal compaction. So, which, let me say, rainy season, because you can't buy water, to have a normal compaction. So you have to wait for the rain to fall. Well, after the rainy season, then you come out and then re-level the road for it to be another year so that you get a normal compaction. So not less than 3 years. Not less than 3 years before you get a normal road. So which you use, what's the name, less 3 months or 4 months. What kind of road are you constructing?
Okay.
And that is cost. And we all know that road is very expensive.
Thank you. Let me go to Carlos in Upper West. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I just want to contribute more about the road.
Very good. Let me hear you, Carlos.
I said I just want to contribute.
Yes, I got it. And let me hear your contribution.
Yeah, you see, one thing I, Carlos, have noticed, these our political leaders and the contractors, they are only deceiving the nation. I'm telling you, from Accra, Achimota to Hamle in the Upper West, there is no road. The only road we have in Ghana is that George Bush Road from Malam Junction to the Tetekwashi roundabout. If you want to see, you can drive on this lane from Accra through Amasama up to Hamle. You see that there is no road. So Carlos, I could see that our taxes are being wasted. Our monies are being wasted. We should use the military, 48 engineering, to be doing some of the roads and forget about these contractors. And our journalists too must help us by going through so that effective road constructions can be done. Every year you see them on the Upper West Road that they are doing the road. It's full of potholes, very deep ones. When I was coming 3 days ago to Upper West, I nearly died. So we are begging them. They should include the military, 48 engineering, to be doing some of the roads.
Thank you.
So we can even save money. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me come to studio to wrap up. So that's some of general sentiments out there.
I don't blame him for that. I can assure you that the government, past government, have used 48 engineers before. They were in the Afram Plain somewhere. They said there was several years because of funding. The amount of work they were supposed to do there that came to minimum. You see, Nana, so far as we are not able to manage our resources very well and direct them to the right sources, that the problem will be there.
One question was, should there be cash before a contract awarded?
We were trying to do. Nana, I was just telling you that we went for 1.2 billion for road maintenance, and we ended up having a debt of over 800 million. Why should it happen? That happened before because immediately they got that money, they started awarding enhanced projects. Enhanced projects are the asphalt roads that you have seen. Are they road maintenance? No. That's complete construction. That should have been done. Would that road last for 10 years? Those asphaltic concretes. Would they last for 10 and above years? We live to see. You see, who would have wished that the agencies control their position? Because you know your budget. Budget is a law. Why should we award more than the budget? Right now, at the road maintenance unit, the road fund, the total contract awarded is about 15 billion. Our yearly revenue for that department is only 1.2 billion, which has really been capped by this government. So we are expecting about 885 million for an overhead of 15 billion. When will you ever finish paying that and then
the interest accumulated on top?
Yeah. Exactly. That's the reality. So you see that when you say that our roads are the most expensive in West Africa, it's not just the cost of the road, but the interest and all the East Allied, that's the cost. So we're making some analysis the other day. Just for 2 years, interest for just road maintenance is over 58 million.
Interest
alone.
Not the road.
No, not what they put in. Just interest on delay payments alone. And it's going to be more this time because now we have an outstanding of 1.7 billion. If it lasts for more than a year, how much do you think that would be? At 32, 33%. So it's a very serious problem, and it is for us. That is why we are trying to talk with government to find a way to grandfather this loan somehow, so that at least if it's grandfathered and put aside, then at least the noise will go down because there will be enough space to do new jobs like the routine maintenance, insist on routine maintenance and periodic maintenance, so that at least we put several roads in motorable condition before you start thinking about development. We can use the foreign money we get in doing development, but what we get out of the petroleum levy, we should use it effectively to maintain the roads.
This conversation, 1 hour, is just a drop in the ocean for such a conversation. What I'll do is, after we go off, I'll see if I can get this gentleman back in so we can talk a bit more on the roads and how it is that we go forward. But I had in the studio Daniel Ato Agro, who's the Association of Road Contractors Ghana, who's the national chairman, and then Stephen Atachi, who is also the Greater Accra chairman for the same association. Has been very insightful. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you.